Have you ever wondered if you would be considered intelligent? If you lived 100,000 years ago, no phone, no internet, no books, no school, just you and the wild. Here's the strange part. Your ancestors survived in that world for thousands of generations. Most modern people probably wouldn't last a week. So when did humans actually become intelligent? Was it when we learned to make fire, when we invented language? Or did intelligence appear long before any of those things? By the end of this video, you'll discover why scientists no longer believe intelligence appeared in one magical moment. Instead, it grew piece by piece, and the final piece might completely change the way you think about your own brain. Let's begin. Block 1. Intelligence isn't about IQ. When people hear the word intelligence, they usually imagine high IQs, scientists, engineers, chess champions. But that's only one kind of intelligence. Imagine dropping a smartphone into the African savanna without electricity, without satellites, without the internet. How useful is it? Almost useless. Now imagine dropping a modern office worker into the same place. Could they make fire, find safe drinking water, recognize poisonous berries, track an animal, build a shelter? Most people couldn't. Now imagine someone who lived 100,000 years ago. They couldn't solve calculus, but they could read footprints like a detective. They knew where animals migrated. They remembered enormous landscapes without maps. They recognized hundreds of plants. They understood seasons, weather, danger, and they survived. Day after day. That's intelligence too, just adapted for a different world. So maybe the better question isn't, when did humans become intelligent? Maybe it's, what kind of intelligence are we talking about? But that creates another mystery. If intelligence is simply solving problems, why haven't chimpanzees built cities? The answer begins millions of years before the first human existed. Block 2. Evolution didn't build a genius overnight about 7 million years ago. Your ancestors looked much more like apes than people. Their brains weren't dramatically different from modern chimpanzees. They climbed trees, lived in forests, and survived like countless other animals. Nothing suggested they would someday land on the moon. Then Earth changed. Forests slowly disappeared. Grasslands expanded. Food became harder to find. Life became unpredictable. To survive, our ancestors had to adapt. Walking on two legs suddenly became useful. It allowed them to travel farther, see over tall grass, carry food, carry children, and eventually use their hands for something completely new. Tools. This wasn't a sudden leap in intelligence. It was thousands of tiny improvements, generation after generation, each one solving one small problem, until one day, those hands picked up a stone. Before we continue, if you enjoy videos that explore human evolution, psychology, and the hidden story of our ancestors, consider subscribing. There are many more fascinating stories waiting ahead. Now, A-tier. Block 3. The first time humans planned the future. Around 3.3 million years ago, someone picked up two stones. Not to play, not to throw them, but to shape one with the other. Strike, strike, strike. Eventually, a sharp edge appeared. It wasn't beautiful, but it worked. That edge could slice meat, break bones, cut plants. Suddenly, the world became easier to survive. But here's what really matters. The tool existed in someone's imagination before it existed in reality. That means they weren't just reacting. They were planning, thinking ahead, solving tomorrow's problem today. That's one of the biggest differences between humans and most animals, planning. But an even bigger breakthrough came next. Because one person making tools isn't enough. The knowledge has to survive. Children watched adults. Adults taught children. Skills spread. Each generation started a little farther ahead than the previous one. Knowledge stopped resetting. It began to grow, like interest in a bank account, slowly, then faster. But something was still missing. And without it, human civilization would never exist. Block 4. The Invisible Revolution. Imagine organizing a hunt without words, without explaining a plan, without warning others about danger, almost impossible. At some point, our ancestors developed increasingly complex language. Scientists still debate exactly when this happened, but everyone agrees on the result. Language changed everything. Ideas no longer died with the person who discovered them. Parents could teach children, hunters could share strategies, families could tell stories, stories became memory, memory became culture, culture became progress. Now imagine hearing that a nearby river floods every spring. You don't need to experience the flood yourself. Someone else's experience becomes your survival guide. That's incredibly powerful. Animals learn, humans teach, and because humans teach, knowledge grows faster than evolution ever could. Fire, clothing, fishing, shelters, art, agriculture, cities, science. Each generation inherited everything the previous generation had already learned. But surprisingly, even language isn't the biggest reason humans became intelligent. The real answer is even more fascinating. Block 5, the secret behind human intelligence. So, when did humans actually become intelligent? The truth is, there was never one moment, no first genius, no magical mutation, no overnight transformation. Human intelligence is like building a tower, walking upright, making tools, planning ahead, learning from others, language, culture. Each step made the next one possible, but the greatest breakthrough wasn't inside a single brain. It happened between brains. Humans learned how to share knowledge across generations. Think about your own life. Can you build a computer from scratch? Probably not. Can you make antibiotics, launch a satellite, build an airplane? Most people can't. Yet humanity can because intelligence became collective. Every book, every teacher, every invention, every conversation, every video you watch adds another piece to the enormous library built by countless generations before you. In many ways, you're thinking with millions of minds, not just your own. That's why a child today learns in school what once took humanity thousands of years to discover. That's our real superpower, not the size of our brains, but our ability to build on the knowledge of people we've never met. That's what truly made humans intelligent and ultimately unstoppable. Conclusion. So when did humans become intelligent? Not when we made the first tool, not when we controlled fire, not even when we first spoke. Human intelligence wasn't born in a single moment. It evolved, one small improvement after another, and the biggest leap happened when knowledge stopped belonging to individuals and started belonging to everyone. Every generation inherited the discoveries of the last, and that's why humanity kept moving forward. If you enjoyed this journey into the story of human intelligence, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and join us for the next adventure into history, psychology, and the incredible story of what makes us human. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.